All right, welcome everyone to Super Skills Sunday. Thank you everyone for tuning in. My name is Sandy Bayou and I'm a National Marketing Director in Canada, and I have the pleasure of interviewing the one and only Scott Henley. So there's been a buzz on our Facebook groups about getting to learn from this gentleman. I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years back at a 39 Club retreat, which is an awards, like a reward for all the hard work of NMD, and you get to kind of schmooze and hang out by the pool. And Scott was so gracious. It was when they were just blowing up in the UK, and we were just like, any excuse to learn from them. We would ask them question upon question, and he so kindly answered everything. And it was so powerful to see all that they had created. And at one point there was seven of them standing together, and all seven of them were in a line, and it was like, talk about duplication. Our minds were blown. And I believe it was from that point on where we really recognized that this was a place where we needed to look at and really get more systemized and learn from them that power of duplication. And from that, our Team Synergy Inspires website was born. And I have to credit a lot of that to the conversations that we had with Scott and his crew. And so without further ado, I'm so grateful to hear from him. And be sure as we're going along, if you have any questions, put it in the comments. And if we have time at the end, we'll get to them. Scott so kindly stayed up late. The time zones always cause me anxiety, and so he's up even an hour later than originally planned. So I have to thank him for that. And I'm just so excited to hear from you, Scott. I think you're so inspiring. And if you could maybe share with us what your life was like before Juice Plus, what was going on for you, and then your Juice Plus story, of course. And after, I would love to ask you some questions. So thank you for being with us.
No, it's a pleasure. Hey guys, hope you're well. Let me sort of introduce myself. So I'm Scott Henley. I've been in the business now just over 4 years, and it's been an incredible 4 years. It's been a whirlwind. My background is, I'm just a normal guy. I grew up in a council estate in the south of the UK. I've played a lot of sports when I was younger. Always been into my fitness and my sport. Tried to be a footballer or a soccer player, as you guys would say, when I was at school, when I left school. And like a lot of young kids in the UK, there's a lot of talent, but you never, there's to make it professionally, you have to be that 0.5%, 1%. So that never quite worked out for me. When I was at college, I got a PT qualification. So I was doing sort of PTing as well as trying to make it as a footballer. And it was something I really enjoyed, but not something that I wanted to probably pursue as a career. I did a bit of traveling as well. So I traveled around Australia for a year, and I worked in Europe football coaching. And the biggest turning point for me in my life was when I was 25, and it was when my daughter was born. So those of you who are parents on the call, obviously once you have children, you're not then responsible for yourself and your own actions, you're responsible for somebody else. So for me, it was a bit of a shock really in terms of, a career, because I didn't have one. I was doing lots of things, but I didn't really have a stable career. So for me, with my sport and fitness sort of knowledge and background, I thought, how could I put that into use? So I joined the Royal Air Force in the UK as a physical training instructor. I got put off at the careers office. They were sort of trying to tell me to join as a fireman or something else. And I was like, no, I want to be a physical training instructor. And I am the type of person that I'm very driven and very determined. So anything I do, I'll do it 100%. So, I wasn't getting put off by what they were saying. So no, I went into them. I said, no, I want to be a physical training instructor. And, I passed all the medical tests and all the fitness tests. And about a year later from that first interview, I was in the Air Force. Great career. Great salary, loved my job, loved helping people, loved keeping fit. So it was something that was perfect for me. and my daughter's future. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell growing up, and right up to my sort of Juice Plus start of that story.
Right on. Thank you, Scott. And so how tell us your Juice Plus story. How were you approached? Where did it begin for you, and how did you catch the vision?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. When I saw someone on social media posting about fruits and vegetables, I thought he was crazy. Now, I thought I knew quite a lot about nutrition, but I was the typical guy who would go into a protein shop, see what's on the shelves, buy the tub that was on offer that had the most grams per serving, and would use that. Wouldn't even care what the ingredients was, as long as it had a high protein content. So that was my thinking. That was my train of thought. So when someone was posting about it and he didn't have the knowledge that I had, I thought he was crazy. And I knew him. He was in the army, and I messaged him saying, what are you doing? Because it was blocking my newsfeed, and he was starting to drive me mad. And his response was very clever. He sort of said, forget about the products. Let me talk to you about the business opportunity. And straight away, I made up all the excuses. I haven't got time. I wouldn't be able to make it work. I'm too busy. What would my friends and family think? All those sorts of things that just to sort of get out of the conversation, I suppose. I was very close-minded to the idea. And I quickly dismissed it, basically. But he sort of kept on to me, and he didn't give up on me, if that makes sense. So it was about 4 weeks in. He was still posting on his Facebook, and he used to be at the same base as me. So I used to see him in the gym, and he used to say little things here and there. And then he showed me, about 4 weeks after he first talked to me about the business opportunity, he showed me his paycheck. Now, I am not money driven in the slightest, but, if it's going to help my daughter and her future, I'm listening, sort of thing. So as soon as he showed me that, and said the words, you could spoil your daughter at Christmas, because this was about July, August time. Why don't you just give it a go and see what happens? I was sort of then really sat on the fence. So what I did was I had a good look through the company website. I had a look through, the products, how they're made, the company, the history, the science, the CHS, everything. And I actually felt like a bit of an idiot, because I couldn't fault it. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. And I was trying my hardest. And it just made sense. It really did, in terms of the products. But again, I wasn't sales or business minded, so I didn't understand the business side of it. But the guy, his name's Jay. Jay just said, it's £50. It's hassle free. It's risk free. It's done from your phone. You use social media. What's the worst that can happen? If you don't make your £50 back in your first month, I'll give you that back. So he sort of took everything away from me in terms of worries. He just said, go for it. And it took me a couple of weeks to decide, but I remember it was the summer holidays, and I had my daughter, and she was just about to go back to her mum's, and I put her to bed, and I sat there and thought, what have I got to lose? Even if I earn an extra £100 a month, I can save that up and spoil her at Christmas. And that was my mindset. And I thought, I'll just do it. And I did. I got on my phone. I got through the link, signed up through the link, and then joined.
Wow, that's amazing. And so how old was your daughter when you began this journey?
So she would have been just turned 6.
Okay, and how old is she now?
She's 10, yeah.
So you joined the business, and what happened from there? Like it was part of that whole tidal wave that you guys just were on fire, and how did your world change from that moment till now?
Yeah, what a decision it was to join, but what an investment. But yeah, the first couple of days, the fear really was, for me, the fear. I was scared. I was scared about what people would say. what reaction I'd get if I didn't make it work. 'Cause there's not many things that I failed at when I put everything into it. So what if I failed? You know, there was a lot of things that were going through my head, and I was posting the wrong things on social media. You know, I was quite salesy, and I was worried. And in the first 48 hours, I didn't get one message, or, you know, hardly any likes or anything. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like, this is never going to work. Like, what have I done? And then I started getting messages. And obviously I joined the products and ordered my own, joined the business and ordered the products at the same time. So, you know, it was all completely fresh. Now, we had Facebook groups with like testimonies of the products and business. So, you know, I could see that, but I didn't have the belief in the products and business, which I think is massive, and I'll go into that in a bit. But I started getting some messages. I started then getting some orders. And then it just by social media alone, it just went absolutely crazy. I hit the first sort of position with a bonus. We call it SDD, or Senior Direct Distributor. Hit that within the first week. And, you know, started building a customer base very, very quickly. Then I started building a team just by curiosity, I suppose, that I built on Facebook. And within 3 months, I hit senior sales coordinator. It just went month by month. I just hit it. And I suppose about 4 weeks in, I started feeling the benefits in the products, because for me, it was my energy and my recovery in the gym. So I had belief in the products. Now, I didn't understand the business model, but the excitement I was creating, and the curiosity on social media, I was getting, you know, interest. I was creating intrigue. And I was phoning people up. I was literally going through my list on my phone, and I was phoning people up and just going, you know, hey, how you doing? How's things? How's work? How's family? And then when they were saying, you know, what are you up to? I was just like, I've just started this new business venture, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was probably saying too much, but I think just because the excitement in my voice and my passion, they were, you know, asking for more. And, you know, either saying I was mad or joining me, basically. So that was the first 3 months. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just passionate and excited. A big turning point for me was I went to a convention in the UK, and it was only a small one. It was like a regional, 400 or 500 people. It was a weekend thing. Now, again, like I said, I loved the products, but I didn't understand the business model. I went to the convention. I still was a bit like closed-minded to it all. I still thought it was a bit, you know, it was a bit of a cult, you know, all those sorts of, I didn't know what to expect at this weekend. I was still the person that was sat at the back in the room, and you've probably seen them at conventions or when you've done events. I was that type of person, and not really taking much of it in, which is strange because, you know, I love the products, but I didn't understand it. And that's so key in network marketing and in this company, that you understand, you know, what we're about. So I sat at the back and I didn't really take much in. On the second day, right at the end, there was a young lady. She was about 24 years old, and you guys will all know who she is. It was Katie Wren, and she'd been in the business a year and a half. Now, again, I wasn't really taking much in, just because of my sheer closed-mindedness and stubbornness, I suppose. And she finished her presentation, and someone asked her as she walked off how much money she'd earned. And she got quite embarrassed, and then started looking up and like counting in her head. And I thought, well, she couldn't have earned that much, you know, not surely. And she said a six-figure number. You know, it was over £100,000. And I was like, wow, you know, that's life-changing amounts of money, life-changing. And no disrespect to her, you know, she's done really well, but if she can do it, why can't I? So I left the convention and phoned up Jay, and I said, Jay, how do I earn six figures? Because my daughter would benefit a lot from that. And, you know, if she can benefit and that can change her life, then I'll do all it takes. And he said, you need to build a team. You really need to, you know, create some momentum. And he showed me, you know, the numbers, the power numbers, which you guys have all seen. So you got yourself, you recruit 5, they recruit 5, you got 125, they recruit 5, 625 yet. He showed me that. And he said, you know, 5 people, just get them all to get 5. And for me personally, I was quite, as a PTI, I'm used to standing up in front of people, so I don't get, you know, I haven't got a fear of public speaking or anything like that. So he said, let's try and do some events. Now, he lived 300 miles away from me, so he flew down with his upline. He showed me how to do an event, and he said, just replicate that. And he said, what you do then is you do events in certain areas where you've got pockets of team, and you then teach them how to put on their events. So, you know, come a year down the line, you can be sat at home and you could have events in your team around the country. And I was like, right, that's what I'm going to do. So for literally the next 6 to 8 months, I did 2 or 3 events a month in areas where I had pockets of teams. Now, my first event I did, I invited all my customers and friends and family and all the rest of it. I was really excited, really buzzing, and nobody turned up. Absolutely nobody. And again, you know, when the whole network marketing journey, you're going up and down. I was like, oh my God, like, what have I done? This business is not going to work. Like, I'm just getting laughed at. You know, all the emotions were going crazy. But I didn't give up. And a couple of weeks later, I put another event on in a different area down the road, and I had 50 people there. 50 people, and a lot of them were potentials. So there was quite a lot of team members as well, but there was a lot of potentials there. So I just started doing that, and that was the start, really, of how I started working my way up through the positions. Now, at this point, I had obviously belief in myself, and I had great belief in the products, but I still didn't have the great belief in the business. I didn't understand the company. I still didn't understand network marketing, but the passion, the excitement, and the my determination just kept me going. So in January, so 5 months into my journey, I had about 70 to 75 team members. I hit national marketing director, and you know, I just did it, like I said, just pure determination and excitement. And again, I didn't realize what that meant. And I know that sounds quite bad. And we say in the UK, really, it's, you know, a 5-year career. You should be aiming to hit national marketing director in 5 years, especially the way the business is growing worldwide at the minute. So I then got invited, like you said, to the Phoenix convention in April. So I think I was an international marketing director. So we had a 2-day retreat, 6-star resort, you know, all paid for. And then we had the 2-day convention. Now, before that, my mindset was just keep doing what you're doing and get as much money as you can to help to sort of, you know, put it towards my daughter's future. That was my mindset. After that, it completely changed. And this was the biggest moment for me in my sort of Juice Plus career as such. So the 2-day retreat completely blew me away. Meeting national marketing directors from all over the world, from all walks of life, you know, young, old, male, female, you know, educated people that, you know, come from different from different backgrounds, different religions. It was just crazy. And talking to them and seeing how driven they were and passionate, listening to their life stories, how they've had total time freedom, and, you know, the stuff they've got up to with the company, the cool stuff, and, you know, with their families. It was incredible, and I needed to hear that. But also talking to the corporate guys that have been involved in the business for 15, 20 years, 30 years. It was amazing. And we got invited out to dinners through, you know, people like Bob and Sue Burdick that have been in the business, you know, almost 30 years, that were millionaires, and they were putting on dinners for us and, you know, telling us how great our life's going to be in our future. It was just incredible. And then going to the convention, 6,000 people, again, all like-minded, you know, all lots of energy, and it was just crazy. And I remember just sort of leaving that and thinking, wow, I was just blown away by it all. And we then went to the guys in the UK. There was a handful of us. We went to LA and partied for a week because we work hard, we play hard, right? So we partied for a week, and then I got home, and I said to my wife, I said, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I'm going to leave the Royal Air Force. And she was like, what? I was like, I'm going to leave. She said, I love my job, and it was a 22-year career, but I've seen something that's way bigger. Like, it's way bigger than what this can offer me. And I said, and plus, I'm trading time for money, and that's not something I want to do. I don't want to trade time for money. I want to live life on my terms, but work on something that can be way bigger than what I'm doing now. And she was supportive. She said, she whatever you want to do, I'll stick with that, and I'll stand by you. And I had a lot of negative reaction, or quite a shocked reaction, as you'd imagine, from so-called family and friends. And they're just trying to protect me, I suppose. But, I was clear in my head that this is me, this is what I want, this is my future, and this is what I'm going to go for. So I then had to step it up because, I was leaving a solid career. So I then started doing 2 to 4 events a week, where I had pockets of teams. And I did that for about 8 months solid. And I hit the position of presidential marketing director within sort of less than a year. But for me, what changed is I had belief in the products, I had belief in myself, but I now had belief in the business. There was no stopping me. There was nothing holding me back. There was no excuses. You either succeed or you don't. There's no in between. You've got everything now. You need to just go for it. So that was where I was at, and the rest is, as they say, is history. And I've never looked back.
Wow, I got goosebumps. That's so true. It's like everyone that gets to the top leadership positions, they're like titanium when it comes to their belief in everything. So my friend Barb always says, no one can hit me off my mountain, like no matter what you come at me with. So it's huge that you got there, and look at the ripples that have come because of it. And I was curious, like so much of this is a personal growth journey. Probably who you are when you started is completely different to who you are now. And what kinds of things would you instruct your team, and things that you did to help you grow as a person in the journey?
Yeah, I mean, as a person in general, you have to grow because there's not many business models, or there's not many careers where if you don't make it about yourself and you make it about others, then you become more successful. And it's quite hard to sort of get your head around that, because you're always thinking the next position, or the next bonus, or the next paycheck, or the next promotion. And that's generally what we get taught from quite a young age when we go through that corporate hustle, or the rat race, as we call it over here. So it's quite hard not to take that into this business. And obviously the military is kind of the same, where you get your structure and you get your ranks, and yes sir, no sir. So you have to try and make it about others, and the more you can help others in our business in terms of obviously health benefits and financial gain, then the more successful you can become. So once you get into that mindset and make it about others, and helping others, then you can succeed. Now, what I'd say to all my guys is, we're always trying to improve ourselves, because that's what you do anyway, whether you're in this business or not. And you should always try and improve yourselves. But with this business, in terms of like the network marketing business model, there's so much out there that you can learn and use to bring into your business. There's no right or wrong way to do this business, and that's so important. And I will help you achieve your goals, and they're all different. People's goals are different, and they'll change month to month. Look, if someone said to me I could earn £100,000 a year when I first joined, or wanted to join the business, I would have never joined, because I thought they would talking rubbish. But that extra £100 is what got me into the business. So, you have to, find out what your guys want, and then help them on a journey. So although you're developing yourself, which is important, and your knowledge in the business, in the industry, you also have to help others achieve what they want. So my self-development, it's yes, you work on yourself, but you help people work on themselves as well, which is, again, it's totally different way of doing things. But I've grown massively. I've grown massively as a person, and I think you have to, and you do anyway, I think, naturally. But I listen to a lot of audiobooks, not just network marketing based, but the Secret is a great one. We have what's the person I'm looking for? Les Brown. He's amazing. Just 10 minutes in the morning, just to get you fired up and get you ready. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's more about giving than taking. I think that's the way, the most thing I can sort of take from the last 4 years.
I love that. That's so true. One thing I was wondering, we typically tend to have more women on our team, and I don't know if you have equal number men, women, and I know that all the men on our team are like, we can't share the way that you girls share with heart and feeling and emotion. Like, how do you share as a guy in the business with other guys? Like, any advice you can give the men on our team?
Yeah, I mean, what my upline would say, or one of my uplines is of John Holowati. He would say, recruit more women. Yeah, as a guy, and it's kind of true. It's kind of true. But hey, if you look at me, John, Alex Webb, Jeff Roberti, they're some of the highest earners in the company, and they're men. So hey, there's no right or wrong person that can join our business, and we all know that. If you look at the guys in Italy at the minute, they got the biggest teams in Europe at the minute, in terms of what they're bringing into the company, and they're 80% males, I'm pretty sure. So it's the other way around, or 70%. So there's no right or wrong person who do this. Again, all you've got to do is, for me, it's all about finding out what people want and offering what we've got. So if it's a man or a woman, do you want to look good? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to make money? All right. But obviously I would never ask them that direct. I'd just ask the right questions, so that they would then come back to me and say, I want to feel better. I want to lose weight. I want to build muscle. I want to earn a bit of money. I don't like my job, or whatever it is. And then I just say, I've got something that you'd be interested in. And for me personally, lads that are on the call, it's just about how many people you speak to, how many seeds you plant every single day. And our business is all about making connections and talking to people every day. And if you're doing that, it doesn't matter who you're talking to, as long as you're talking to enough people, people will come round. People will ask you about the products. People will ask you about the business, as long as you're showing them what we can offer every day, whether it's on your social media or whether you're talking to them. Obviously, you've got to live the mission. You've got to be healthy, inspire healthy living, and show people what it is we do. Educate people as well, because I think that's important. So a lot of people that are like myself think they know it all, or might have a preconceived conception of what they think the products or the business is. So all about educating. And what I say is we try and help the blind to see, as such.
Well, I love that. I love it. Okay, I only have a couple more questions, and then I'll let you carry on with your.
Yeah.
So something that I always like to ask is, when someone asks you what you do, we're often meeting people out in the world, and when someone asks you what you do, what do you respond, and how do you prospect out in cold market?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started the business, like I said, when I was speaking to people, I was so excited that I used to just go, and just and they were like, wow, like, what's this kid like? What is he on about? Is he smoking the stuff? And that's what people were like, and it worked, but not as much. I think I scared more people away. But I mean now, if I'm out and about again, it's all about relationships and building rapport with people. So if I don't know someone, let's say someone who's working at a Starbucks, a young girl maybe, you know, you're going to order, so you have to talk to the person. You know, it's easy to just say, how's your day going? You know, it's a simple conversation starter. Then, you know, you don't seem so weird, or you don't feel so like, oh, I've got to talk to her about the products and business, but how am I going to do it? You don't have to do that. You just have to say, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know, and then a simple thing is like, oh, is this your full-time job? You know, are you at college, at university? You know, what is it you're up to? What is it you're doing? And then, you know, you'll get into a conversation, and all I say is, you know, if someone said, oh, what do? You can say, obviously there's different things, but the shorter the better, and the more catchy, you know, the better as well. You have to leave them thinking, what does that mean? And that's what I do. And I just say, I help people look good, feel good, and make money. And people are like, and then I'll try and change the conversation, because you want them to go, whoa, you know, what, how did you do that? Like that, you know. Or you could say, I help people look good and feel good and make money. I think you'd be great at what I do. You know, if they've got good customer service or whatever it is. So you could try that. But again, you don't say any more than that. You can then go, oh yeah, can I have a non-sugar shot in my latte, please, or whatever it is, and not, you know, and you get them thinking. And what I do with people that I don't know is you have to sort of, if you sound desperate, then they're not going to be interested. If you know, give them a bit and they're like wanting more, and you just sort of walk away, that's way better. So generally what you want to do is look, I know you're busy. If they say, can I tell you more? I know you're busy, but are you on Facebook, you know, or are you on Instagram? What's your name? What's your Insta name? What's your Facebook name? I'll add you now, and I'll send you a message later, or send you a video later, a quick video. Have a great day. Simple as that. So the littler, the better. And you can do that every day to people you speak to, people you're meeting.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so the final question is two-part. What was the best piece of advice you've ever received when you were starting out in this business to give you the confidence to do it? And then what would be your best piece of advice to give someone that's new or stuck in this business?
Okay, so the best piece of advice I've ever got in this business is never stop growing your list. So, like I said, when I first started, my list was my phone contacts. Then it may be, you know, people I'm speaking to every day. I physically write it down now on a sheet. We have a grid in the UK, and we try and do 100 grids, so 100 names every month. Just business, not business and products. You can try business and product, do 50 of each, but I try and do just business. So, you know, that's 3 names for a day I'm having conversations with about this business. So, you know, to have 3 names you're having conversations with, you've either got to go out there and speak to a lot of people, or you've got to be posting, or, do you know what I mean? You've got to be building rapport or relationships with a lot of people. But it, you know, it depends how much time you've got. It doesn't take a lot to go out and speak to 3 people. That's 100 people a month. You know, that's a lot of people you're having conversations with. Then you just have to convert 1 in 10. You've got 10 new distributors a month. So that's what I'd always say. Never stop planting seeds, or, you know, or growing your list. All right. The bigger list you get, you know, the more your business will grow. It's as simple as that. And the best advice I would give to someone joining the business is, it depends on what their goals were. But what I'd say to them is, you know, first of all, what is it you want from this business, and why are you doing it? And I'll say that to you all now. What is it you want? Do you want, guys? What do you want from this business, and why are you on this call, or why are you listening to it? If you're not listening live and you're listening to the recording, you know, why? What's the reason? What drives you every day? And you know, what are you prepared to do to achieve that? Now, the journey that you'll go on, or the journey that you've been on, it's not been easy. Like, my journey's not been easy, although yes, I'm a PMD, you know, and you know, I've celebrated lots of successes and I've had an amazing life. And, you know, this business and the opportunity has helped me in so many different ways. You know, it's never been straight up like that. It's been a journey. I've had lots of ups, but there's been downs. There's been testing times, but that's the times where you grow. So don't think it's going to be easy because you're kidding yourself. But I will tell you this, it will be worth it. It will be worth it. It's the best decision I've ever made. And although there are days where it's tough and it's testing and you get negativity and you get people telling you can't do it and you get people leave your business and you get a new company launch and, you know, all that sort of stuff, that's just part and parcel of your journey. But don't let it stop you. Don't let it deflate you. Don't let it don't let it stop you achieving your goals, because your goals should be bigger than every single thing I've just said and everything that will hold you back. Your goals should be so big that nothing can get in your way. And I mean nothing. So yes, it's going to be hard, but are you up for the challenge?
Woo! Perfect way to end it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you for your time and your wisdom. We just so value it so much. So I'm just going to stop the recording so everyone can say a little shout.